Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good time of day, whatever it may be for you. Welcome back to the Lambda Log. This is week 7, day 5, the 19th of June, Friday. Our performance day, our last performance day, really our one true performance day. This is when the rest of our class came to see us, and it was so fun. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. We arrived at I got there around 9ish. I got a nice little vegan sausage roll that are way better than the normal sausage rolls. It's not like a vegan thing. It just tastes so much better at the school cafe. And then we set up and prepared for the show. I gave out my letters that I finished yesterday, and I love doing that. I love writing letters for people and giving them, just being able to tell people I care, you know. And then Vicky led a warm up that was delightful. It was really great. And then we had some little final notes. No onstage water. Um, this is something I didn't mention in last video, but the other actor playing Aimwell, uh, there was this tanker that had a hole in it, and a bunch of water spilled everywhere. And they like 4 different times we tried to clean it up, like different people, and she still slipped on the water during the fight, um and did like a somersault, and then wound up tied up in this rope. It was crazy. But so no more on stage water, except for 2 distinct moments. One, when there's the cordial, that's definitely pee. And then there's the moment with the Anno Domini with Boniface and I. And then we did the show. And it went really well. Yeah, it was awesome. And then right after the show, we had to clean up and like prepare the stage for the other two. And then I had lunch with, before lunch, I booked time to do my thesis for my advisor. And so I performed it. It was about 18 minutes, which is pretty good. Um, I didn't have all my props and things, but I did what I could. And he had 2 notes on my British accent for the king. He said amen is better than amen, and holy is different than holy. I don't know what he meant by that exactly. Like when something is whole, they pronounce it different than if something is holy, like heavenly. But I think he wants it to pronounce holy. He said like holy. I don't know. Movement feels precise and intentional. Don't be afraid to take time. Like there's a section where I put on like this breastplate, this armor. And he's like, if that takes 2 minutes, let it take 2 minutes. Be intentional, be confident, be specific. The suitcase box really worked. Own it. Don't be afraid to let the audience watch me. Just do things. Some practical things is just like, how will the blood drip from the crown? How do I do the blood with the whip? Question I've not yet solved. Don't muddy the genre, kind of be intentional. If blood is working one way, can it be done all the other ways? And then we want it to be consistent. It gets a little desperate in some moments. Disparate, not desperate. So keep it together. Keep it signified and single. I need my tech done for Tuesday for our next meeting. And then question is the idea about amplifying the Patriots' prayer so that it's connecting to something greater. There's a computer idea, but I didn't know how that would work with like blood and everything. And then I need to find a computer work, but his idea was to do it with a self-tape. And I'll probably record and post it to the Lambda log so you see my performance. But yeah, then he has some ideas if I would perform with my back to the audience so that all the audience could see if my face was a little screen. He said it would be brave. I don't think I'm going to do it. because he said some of the terms and stuff in the Patriots prayer is a little on the nose. And so if I was sharing it with somebody, it would feel more pointed and more specific. Um, yeah. And then the only screen that the audience would see would be my phone screen. I have a feeling it's too small, so I'm going to turn and face towards them, but also have them see the screen. But he really thinks that that would enhance that section. And then the first three lines um, in the player's prayer can be cut. Well, the up to like these men can be the beginning, and I don't need to be like why, what was, just to act that and jump into it a little more. And then I need to be very intentional and schedule out these last 10 days and learn it and get it up on its feet and be memorized, which I'm close. It's a lot. And then we went to the cemetery with Vicky and the cast to eat lunch, and we had a little picnic, and it was delightful. And then I got some ice cream from a dairy, and it was delicious. And then we saw Man of Mode, and it was so joyful and over the top. It was like an SNL sketch. It was just so funny and ridiculous. And then since it was Friday, there was some free food in the calf. Woo! And then I had a Mountain Dew for energy because I'm dipping. I'm struggling at the end here. And then Vicky came by and thanked me for my letter. And in the letter to her, I mentioned like thanking her for being intentional and uh, and with the not taking the Lord's name in vain in in the script. How I was really grateful for her being real with me, and and she just said, "Yeah, you're welcome." And she was like, "Thank you for it. It was really sweet." She also said, sorry for swearing so effing much," but she said it. I thought that was funny. And then she gave me a sweet hug, and it was nice. She's the best. I really appreciate her. And then we saw The Way of the World, and it was wonderful. So glad to see it. They pulled it out too, and it was that one's had some drama and some struggles, but it was still still so enjoyable to watch. My cohort's super talented. And then a little addition for Saturday and Sunday because the work never ends. Um, for Saturday to the 20th of June, I spent all day at school. I got there early to figure out my sound cues, and another student really helped me work on some things, but it was so frustrating, and I started feeling sick. My throat started hurting. I was like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." I'm still on the end of it. But I brought a bunch of the cardboard also to the school, and I got an Uber because it was not. Mm. And then another student really helped like tape up all the windows so that we could use that cardboard to black out the John Wood, so blackouts would work well. And then I rehearsed with two other people's theses, and then I got home beat and I was not feeling well. And then we also had the fight night tech sprinkled throughout, and that was rough because my partner and I didn't do our didn't work on our lines that well, and so we kind of just threw it together. And then we didn't have time to rehearse beforehand because we had to figure out costumes, and it was a mess. But we did it, and I'll get to our actual dress rehearsal on Sunday in a second, and that was better. But I did not sleep well Saturday night. It was warm, and I was sick, and I couldn't breathe very well. So Sunday, I didn't go to church because it just wasn't feeling well. Happy Father's Day. Didn't feel that special. It didn't feel that fathery, but um, I was able to finish my cue lab and all my sound cues um, before I got to school, and then I went to school, and then I wrote up a cue sheet, and I have some a student who's going to work on it for me, and then I was not feeling well. Um, I wore a mask, and I worked my lines a bit, and then I worked my fight with Felipe a little bit, and then we had our tech, and we put on our whole our dress, not our tech, our dress rehearsal, and somebody got hurt. I think they dislocated their knee. I don't know. That's unsure. I hope she's okay. Um, but Felipe and my fight went really well. We struggled a little bit on some lines, but I think we covered it, and it'll be great. It's pretty quick too, but it's fun. Uh, and then I came home, and I was not doing great, but that that's all of it. That's the weekend. So love you lots. I'll try to stay on top of this because I'm not feeling well and because it's so busy. But enjoy. Have a wonderful day.